Hey guys, just taking a quick minute to make a comment regarding a comment that I read earlier. And the comment was, it's just too early to plant anything in Michigan. And I'm going to tell you right now that in Southeast Michigan, that is not a correct statement. That in Southeast Michigan, we have 3 seasons. We have cool, warm, and cool. So cool actually started way back in the beginning of March. And it will happen again in the fall. We'll have another cool season. And that you can go ahead and plant anything you want to right now. Just be prepared to cover it from the weather. That's it. So I am reading this book here. And what I thought was fascinating as I was going through it is I would see pictures like this on the, throughout the book. And it's a great book. This is an excellent book. Or I would see like garden beds and she had these little things all over them. Or she would use like milk jugs or she didn't use pop bottles, but you could use pop bottles. Or see, like you can see in the wintertime, she's got them covered up like this. And that's a cold frame. She's putting, cloth over hoops here. And I would look at pictures like that and I'd be like, man, that's not a very pretty garden. But you know what's pretty? And what was the whole goal? Is she's growing food. She's growing food for people. And it doesn't matter how the garden looks if you're going to be growing food. So her food, she's got greens underneath here. It looks like actually brassicas under here. Her food is going to come earlier in the season. It's going to come later into the season. She's going to be able to harvest things sooner than other people will. If you were to do this type of thing, a cloche, I think that's how they call them, what they call them. If you were to do the cloche, maybe for your melons or your pumpkins or your squash, it would keep the soil nice and warm and moist. And then this one I think has like a dial thing. You can open it or close it to release heat and moisture. But if you were to do something like this, your soil around the seeds that you might start is going to stay nice and warm. It's the same thing as if you were starting seeds indoor and you put a cover over the top. This is what's going to happen with that as well. And guess what? They're going to develop sooner. Their roots are going to go down into the soil sooner than a lot of the other crops that are not covered. It doesn't matter. She's growing food. She's growing food. I don't care what your garden looks like. If you're growing food, do it. Don't be worried about the looks of a garden if it means that you're going to starve or not starve. And, and I'm not trying to be like, I don't want to be scary. I'm not trying for that. I just recently saw it posted that greens that we get, the 2 main greens that we get, come from only like two places in the country, and they're like both in like California. They're way over on the other side of the country is where we get most of our main greens that go to the grocery stores and stuff. And greens are some of the easiest things you could possibly grow, and you can grow greens through the winter even. So anyway, just wanted to speak to that. It is not too early to plant things in Michigan. It is too early to plant things in Michigan if you're not going to put covers on them and protect them from the elements. But it is not too early to grow things in Michigan. If anything, if you wanted to grow cool crops, it's almost too late. But you'll get another chance for the cool crops in the fall. You saw the weather report for the next week. We're going to have summer next week. And then it's going to get cool again. But we don't know how long it's going to be cool again. So anyway, it is not too early to plant things in Michigan. There are a lot of things that you can plant right now that are cool crops, as long as you're going to protect them, if you're willing to protect them. These are not difficult to put up. I think she uses 9-gauge wire and just inserts the posts right down in the sides of the garden beds, these raised garden beds. She's going to pull this over, especially at night, because that's when we're concerned about it, is at nighttime, when the nights are going to be 45 or under, and frost will form. And what will happen when she pulls them over at night, the frost will form on top of this blanket. So she has the hoops to make sure that the covering doesn't touch the plants and cause them damage. In the morning, depending on, if it's a very sunny day and warm, she could just open the side and vent it, or she could just pull it over to the side, weight it down with a rock, put it back on in the daytime. Is it a little extra work? Yes, it is. But if it means an earlier harvest, and it means you can start putting food away, and you can actually start growing things in your yard that you know what's in the soil, you know what's in the wood, you know what chemicals you put on or don't put on, that's some pretty big power that you could have in your own yard. So no, it is not too late to grow things in Michigan. And this has been my TED Talk. Tammy Lowe, the Lazy Northern Gardener. Thank you for coming. This is a great book. If you haven't thought of getting it, it's something to think of getting soon, or asking for Mother's Day. It's got some great things in there. Everything. And she even goes into not just. See, here you go. Here's a milk jug cloche. So if you were doing winter sowing, you could take the bottoms off of some of your milk jugs and make them into little cloches. So just what I'm trying to do is get you to, here's a formal cloche. Here we go. Here's one page I looked at and I said, ooh, that's kind of ugly, because I was looking at the covers. No, what's beautiful is she's growing food. She's tending food right then and there. And then she's protecting her produce from the weather in the evenings. And from the, maybe we have severe storms and there's hail. These things aren't going to have a problem, are they? Anyway, what I wanted to show you, as I'm going through here real quick, here's a little protector here. This is another type of cloche, but it's not it's not like a greenhouse effect. This is more to keep the deer from reaching down and eating your seedlings. Isn't that wonderful? Love that. Okay, so what she's got is choosing the structure, starting small, larger structures, growing, setting up systems, preventing diseases and pests. And this is the table of contents. Here's shade cloths to protect your seedlings, either in the ground, or you could even put flats underneath there. If you're hardening them off, you can protect them from strong sunlight. And then this, I love this part too, where she is going to go through every type of major thing that you might grow and explain what kind of covers they might like. For example, broccoli and cauliflower, we know that stupid cabbage moth comes to eat our broccolis and cauliflowers, or our cabbages. They want to eat our vegetables. They want to lay their eggs on the leaves, so when the caterpillars emerge, they eat them up, cabbage moths. So what you can use is, you can use bug netting, but on top of the bug netting, you could use a row cover to keep them protected from the cold. You can open up that row cover, and underneath you'd have your bug netting. And those little seedlings could, as long as it's a tight bug netting, those little seedlings are safe from all of those dumb cabbage worms. What else? Spinach, squash. Squash, if you started your squash off, and I'm going to try this too. I ordered some cloches that are like cone shaped, and I will put my squash leaves underneath there. And on top of the little opening that there is of the cone, I'm going to put netting, bug netting. I'm going to not super glue. I'm going to hot glue gun that hole with bug netting. So when I plant my squash seeds, they're going to have a cover that would be like a greenhouse, but the air will still be open. But those dumb cabbage moths, those little white flying moths, are not going to be able to get in there. And they're going to stand a chance to grow a little bit bigger and better, and then withstand any damage that they might give to them. So at any rate, Don't worry about what your garden, your human food garden is looking like. Don't worry about that. Just make sure that if you plant out right now, that you're protecting from the weather. And there's nothing to stop you from growing a row. Maybe she's got a row of, maybe up here she's got a row of flowers that look really beautiful. Or maybe she will intersperse some flowers in her garden that are going to be beautiful. Maybe she's going to put calendula, which can grow right now. You can seed them right now. Maybe she'll put, what else grows right now? Scabiosa, bachelor button, which may be the same thing. But there are things that you could be growing right now and planting right now. So don't let that myth continue, guys. All right, Tammy Lowe, Lazy Northern Gardener. I get back to work, but I had heard that and I just wanted to make sure I addressed it somehow. Love you guys. Talk to you later.